Yeah, in terms of sparring, we got some great guys coming in. Some really experienced southpaws that are smaller. I think Montana Love is coming in. Shakur Stevenson wants to come in. Jermaine Ortiz. We're gonna hit up Erickson Lubin, some of these guys. So we're just gonna bring in a plethora of fighters that are fast, quick, shifty southpaw.
Canelo Alvarez. Shakur Stevenson has no relationship with Jake Paul. None. We heard, oh, Boots is a sparring partner. How much you got paid for that? So now, isn't that also applicable to Shakur Stevenson? Is he not also a sellout?
It's honest, but again, I want to see them fight. I want to see some aggression. Tank would have that if it was anyone he actually felt was worth it. I just don't know if he thinks Jake's worth it. Again, I get that feeling that he just is there.
Jake Paul has surprised many by adding Shakur Stevenson to his training camp as he prepares for Gervonta Tank Davis. According to Paul, Stevenson personally expressed interest in joining, which adds credibility to his preparation. Paul explained that his camp is filled with skilled southpaw fighters, smaller in size but experienced enough to give him the right looks in sparring. What makes Stevenson's involvement stand out is that there hasn't been any previous connection between him and Paul. Even so, Paul feels that working with Stevenson and other partners will sharpen his skills as he gears up for the challenge against Tank.
Yeah, in terms of sparring, we got some great guys coming in. Some really experienced southpaws that are smaller. I think Montana Love is coming in. Shakur Stevenson wants to come in. Jermaine Ortiz. We're gonna hit up Erickson Lubin, some of these guys. So we're just gonna bring in a plethora of fighters that are fast, quick, shifty south.
Some boxing analysts have questioned the sudden partnership between Jake Paul and Shakur Stevenson, calling it unusual and even suspicious. They point out that Stevenson's decision resembles when Jaron Boots Ennis joined Canelo Alvarez's camp to help him prepare for Terrence Crawford. In that case, there was some background connection between Canelo and Ennis's family, which made the arrangement easier to understand. With Paul and Stevenson, however, no prior relationship exists. This has led some observers to believe that financial incentives may have played a major role in bringing Stevenson on board. Critics argue that the move appears more business-driven than purely boxing-related, making it an unexpected collaboration between two fighters who had no previous ties.
Shakur Stevenson reached out to Jake Paul in support of him preparing for Gervonta Davis. Help me understand, what is the difference between Boots Ennis reaching out to Canelo Alvarez in support of his preparation for Terrence Crawford versus Shakur Stevenson reaching out to Jake Paul in preparation for his fight with Gervonta Davis? Tell me, what is the difference? I'll tell you what the difference is. The Ennis family actually had a relationship with Canelo Alvarez. Shakur Stevenson has no relationship with Jake Paul. None. We heard, oh, Boots is a sparring partner. How much you got paid for that? So now, isn't that also applicable to Shakur Stevenson? Is he not also a sellout? I don't want to hear anything about this fight. It's against a YouTuber, it doesn't matter. No, Shakur Stevenson is an elite level fighter that is going to be a sparring partner to a YouTuber, and he reached out to him directly to make it happen?
Shakur Stevenson has also spoken out to explain his perspective on the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight. He said that if he were in Tank's shoes, he would look at it from two different angles. On the business side, it makes sense, since the money and attention would be massive. But as a fighter, Stevenson admitted that personally, he wouldn't take that kind of matchup. His comments highlight the difference between treating boxing as a career decision versus approaching it as pure competition. While some critics question why he would spar with Paul, Stevenson has been upfront in saying that financial factors can't be ignored. He stressed that modern boxing often blurs the line between credibility as a sport and the entertainment side that drives business.
So can you blame a man for taking that opportunity? Because this is prize fighting, right? It's about making money and securing your family. Can you fault him for that?
It's two sides of that.
Okay.
It just depends. As a fighter, just because I had a draw with somebody, for me, I may run it back. But in a business aspect, if you run it back and you lose to Lamont, and then the Jake Paul fight is presented, you may not make as much money, or the fight may not be as lucrative as it was before you lost. So as a business, I understand. I ain't gonna hate on the decision, but as a man
Your
and
pride
as
will
a
get in the way.
fighter with my integrity.
Yeah, but isn't there a price for everything, Shakur? Like, even if you had a draw with somebody and you were offered 10 times more than you ever, I don't know what the number is, but it's a lot more than he's ever made.
At the official press conference, things got heated when Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis came face to face. The exchange quickly escalated into a shove, instantly setting social media and the boxing world buzzing. Still, many analysts believe the clash was more promotional than personal. In modern boxing, confrontations at press events are often designed to create viral highlights that drive pay-per-view sales. The push between Jake and Tank fits perfectly into that pattern, presenting the fight as both a competition and a spectacle. The storyline is clear. Can the bigger man use his size and power to dominate, or will the smaller but more skilled fighter prove that technique and speed win out? This kind of staged drama makes sure that even casual fans, who might not usually watch boxing, will be intrigued enough to tune in on fight night.
Southpaw orthodox matchup, left hand down the pipe. You can even see here, I'm not even trying to do the whole body language breakdown, but you can even see Tank could get under that left hand because he's 5-0. He could roll under that left hand, and here comes the brick hand over the top. If he lands something like that in 10 ounces, I'm going to tell you this. Jake's 200 and something pounds. That's still going to hurt at the very least, and who knows what, because Tank's got ridiculous power. So Jake, a little sloppy on the push there. He got pushed. He wanted to get it back. There's something to be taken away from that, but lines up perfectly for a counter left hand. And you even see his promoter here is kind of grabbing his left hand because Tank wanted to let it fly. And Jake backed up a little bit. He said, oh, and Tank comes from that. Tank, man. Tank said, where I'm from, the bullies get bullied. All right, dude, there you go. Listen, takeaways from this thing, I don't know. Tank seemed to have a little bit more energy today. He seemed to be more lively. Him going back and forth with the media, with Jay Leon, with Jake, with Aiden Ross. There seemed to be a bit more energy today. That's all I really asked for. So in terms of, selling us on something, sure. Better job today from both guys. Jake, seemed a bit more locked in here with Tank as well. They had a little bit more fun. Tank going after Kisa was pretty funny. But listen, this doesn't change anything in my mind. The 10-ounce gloves doesn't really change anything to me. I mean, again, I think that's a bad idea for Tank, more so because even if Jake doesn't land clean, those are 10-ounce gloves, still going to hurt. Tank is still punching in gloves that are 2 ounces heavier than he normally uses, so I don't know how that's a win for him. The $2 million bet almost certainly won't happen, which I didn't think would in the first place, but Tank pretty much confirmed it. And we're all left with the same kind of idea that we thought about this to begin with. This is an entertainment exhibition that we know is going to draw a ton of eyeballs. I'm going to watch, and there's going to be great high-level competition boxing on the underneath card. And even in the main event, if something is to happen, if someone is to get knocked out, it will go mega viral, and both these guys are going to make a shit ton.
While much of the promotion leans on entertainment, insiders maintain that Gervonta Davis is taking this fight very seriously. Analysts point to his body language and intense preparation as proof that Tank is fully focused and determined. They stress that the stakes are much higher than they appear. A victory over Jake Paul would not only deliver a huge payday, but also push Davis further into mainstream recognition. Experts caution that Paul can't afford to view this matchup the way he might have viewed exhibition-style bouts or older opponents mentioned in past discussions. Like Mike Tyson, Davis is a prime fighter, known for his explosiveness and aggression in the ring. If Paul enters this fight without the same level of seriousness, the consequences could be devastating. Davis's commitment in training camp reflects that he understands both sides of the equation, the financial opportunity and the reputational risk of losing to someone who started as a YouTuber.
In this particular in the press conference, and you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's gonna get this money for sure because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games. Don't hit him in the back of the head. Don't rabbit punch him. Don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson. First of all, Mike Tyson, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not going to have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, when you see a car crash. Like you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. There's going to be a lot of people watching it, but I gotta say, man, you really can't blame the guy on what he's doing. And there's a lot of criticism flying on Gervonta Davis. It's not Gervonta Davis's fault that boxing took this turn.
Boxing commentator Showbiz the Adult has made it clear where he stands on the potential outcome of this fight. In his view, if Gervonta Tank Davis defeats Jake Paul, he won't just be winning a bout. He'll be celebrated as a hero by both hardcore boxing fans and casual viewers. The reason, according to Showbiz, is simple. Many people have been waiting to see Paul finally get knocked out after his rise from social media celebrity to boxing headliner. Paul's success has always split audiences. Younger fans enjoy his journey, but traditional boxing followers often see him as an outsider disrupting the sport. If Davis secures the knockout, it would not only satisfy those critics, but also solidify his status as the fighter who humbled Paul. From this perspective, the matchup carries cultural weight. Davis representing the pride of boxing against Paul's entertainment-driven career.
Gervonta Tank Davis stops that. If he is the one who stops this whole train, knocking out Jake Paul, he will become a boxing hero. People will then say, now get the hell out the sport. And I'm talking about from a fighter's perspective. That's what they're going to say. Now, it's not going to go on either one of their official records because it's an exhibition. But it doesn't matter because optically, visually, seeing that go viral, and I mean go viral, and Jake Paul will never hear the end of it.
We're gonna have to help you up. We're gonna have to help you up. We're gonna see about it. Help you up. You gonna let's go.
Because Gervonta Tank Davis is not only a real boxer, he's a real boy. He's 5'5". He's a lightweight. Skills pay the bills. Let him knock out Jake Paul, give him Bambi legs, or knock him down. Gervonta Tank Davis, that moment will go viral, and he will be a far bigger, well-known boxer than he is today, and he will also be a hero. And that's the Black Two Sugars. That you guys don't want to admit it. Don't bull jive. Think about it. He will be a boxing hero. It will go viral over and over. It's the same thing. No, not even the same. It's not even close, but there was a viral reaction when AJ knocked out Francis Ngannou.
Anthony Joshua can dispose of the MMA champion.
When AJ knocked out Francis Ngannou in the first round, it was like, now get out of here.
Former world champion and now analyst Timothy Bradley has been direct in his opinion, calling Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis an easy money fight for Tank. Bradley argues that Davis's proven skills and experience against elite opposition make Paul's challenge look far less threatening. In his view, there's no realistic path for Paul to win. Bradley frames the matchup as a low-risk, high-reward opportunity. He believes it's less about competitiveness and more about generating huge revenue for both fighters, while giving Davis an almost guaranteed victory. According to Bradley, Paul's fame is being used to elevate Tank into a bigger star. This take echoes a broader belief within the boxing community that Davis will handle the fight without much trouble while also cashing in. Adding to the discussion, the choice of Florida as the venue has sparked curiosity and debate among fans and analysts alike.
Your innocence and say that it ain't fixed, because check this out, Tank ain't gonna lose this fight. Hell no. Tank ain't losing this fight. Too many hoes. Man, Jake don't have enough experience. Yeah, man, this gonna be taking candy from a baby. You know, Jake is missing the rules. See, this is what happened when you don't grow up in the game. When you don't grow up in the game, man, at a young age, this is what happens. You know, you start reading your own press clippings. That's what Jake is doing. You know, fighting this lower level competition, and now he think he an ish. Now he think he the man. He ain't the man. You kidding me? He is not the man. Oh no, yeah, false sense of security. Now he trying to pick on small folks, right? You know, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Yeah, I'm just saying size-wise. Yeah, that's another thing, boxing one-on-one. You can't pay attention to size. Hell no, I told y'all it's the size of the heart, right? In that damn dog. It ain't the size of the damn dog, and I told y'all that, man. Yeah, it's the same thing here. And it's about the smartest dog. Tank too smart for him. Tank got too much boxing IQ for Jake, man. This gonna be easy. Easy. Like I said, man, Tank, please. Please, man. Don't do this to boxing, bro. If there's anything, man, shoot. Man, we can put together some kind of like account for you, a GoFundMe account or whatever, bro.
Analyst Paulie Malignaggi has also weighed in, suggesting that both the matchup and the venue choice may be part of a bigger plan to push Gervonta Davis into mainstream stardom. Malignaggi explained that if Davis beats Jake Paul on a major US stage, it could introduce him to a much broader audience than traditional boxing fans. He admitted that the exact motives behind making this fight aren't entirely clear, but the business side is easy to see. Jake Paul draws massive attention in crowds, while Tank provides the credibility and explosive skill set. Bringing them together gives promoters the chance to transform Davis into a household name. Florida being the chosen location strengthens that strategy. It offers easy access for fans, media, and celebrities, ensuring maximum exposure and visibility for the event.
There's obviously a reason why the networks wanted to make Gervonta Davis a star.
But let's look at it. And Robert, I want to ask you this. When you looked at the numbers for Canelo, his fight against Crawford, 41 million viewers. That's what they got. It was the most viewed championship fight of this century. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson got 108 million. It got more than double, significantly more than double. Is it the idea of the streaming services, Netflix, where they're following the numbers, Robert, and that's where the numbers are?
It's what we're coming to, the real fights where they deserve to be seen throughout the world are, it's great. They have good numbers, but when you see guys, that are YouTubers, guys that are 60-year-old retired and coming back, and getting 2 times more than what a real fight, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of embarrassing, kind of sad that we're getting there, that we're in that situation. But I also can't blame them, they're all making a lot of money. That's why Tank is doing it. I think it's ridiculous. It's a joke. But I can't go against that either. He's making a lot of money. Jake Paul is doing his thing. Jake Paul is he makes these fights happen and get the views. So people are tuning in. That's the problem, that people are tuning in.
Promoter Nakisa Badarian has also sparked discussion with his remarks about the fight rules. He confirmed that the bout will be contested with 10-ounce gloves, a standard for lighter weight classes, but a noteworthy detail given the size difference between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. When pressed on whether a rehydration clause was included, Badarian chose not to give a clear answer. This has left fans and analysts wondering if Davis might face restrictions on how much weight he can put back on after the official weigh-in. Such clauses can play a huge role, as they directly impact a fighter's ability to recover before stepping into the ring. The uncertainty has fueled speculation that Paul's camp may have negotiated terms to level the playing field. By keeping certain details undisclosed, the promoters add intrigue and ensure that all eyes remain on the fighters as the event draws closer.
At 195 max weight, 10 3-minute rounds, and 12-ounce gloves. And most of you guys know boxing, right? Most of the fights are with 10-ounce gloves. Fighters spar in 16-ounce gloves. 12-ounce and 10-ounce gives you a little bit more safety, which is the key here, given the size difference. But there's a massive experience difference. We will have 3 world-class judges ringside that the commission has approved to ensure there's a rendered decision for the fans. It will not go on their record, but there will be 3 experienced judges, some of the best in the business, giving their view of who won the fight.
So let me just follow up with this then.
You know, the Florida statute says that it means an exhibition means a boxing, kickboxing, or mixed martial arts.
You saw the exhibition of Floyd and Logan.
Okay.
So just go with that. And if they weren't trying to hit each other,
Fair
then
enough.
tell me they weren't trying to hit each other.
Tank's gonna walk in at 160.
That's up to Tank. What I can tell you is Tank is focused on coming in the best shape of his life. It's not about gaining weight. It's about having the speed advantage.
What can we expect on the undercard? Championship fights?
Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern, we'll announce 5 fights, 4 of which are title fights. So yes, you can expect to see another MVP fully stacked card. No prospects on a big show like this.
Nick, what's up?
Yes, go ahead. As in, how do the fighters prepare?
You and as well as you know, the fighters train with you as promoter.
I mean, look, we started MVP 4 years ago with a mission to be fighter first, right? And I think like this event is exactly that. We're giving Tank a massive platform and opportunity for the world to see who that young man is. He's misunderstood in many ways, but at heart, he is a great human being who has a family and wants to do big things to make an impact on the sport and take care of his family. So we're excited about that. And in terms of preparing for this, it's no different than Mike Tyson, than Taylor Serrano. It's just another big event that's on a global scale.
Keisha, is there a rehydration clause involved?
No comment.
That's all for today's video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more boxing updates. Stay tuned, and I'll catch you in the next one.